Hi Taurus, welcome to BohoMystic. My name is Marinelly. And if you've been here before, welcome back guys. And if you're new here, we'd love for you guys to join the fam. Got your decks, had a really interesting meditation. It was all about mirroring. It all started out with like two stone jut outs, like out of some sides of mountains with a person standing on each side looking at each other. Then that morphed kind of into like two ships side by side going down water with water between them. And then that morphed into them becoming like fishing boats with a fisherman standing on each boat. And that's when I realized I was seeing double of everything. And not only was I seeing double of everything, they were actually the mirror image of each other. So it wasn't a double of the image. It wasn't like a recreation on either side. It was actually the same image on each side. And then I thought of like Gemini, the twins. And are you living and experiencing, wow, I just got an out-of-body experience. Are you seeing yourself, but you're not able to mesh the two? Are you living a dichotomy? Are you having a push and pull? Yeah, when I'm thinking of push and pull, I'm thinking needing and wanting to do something, but not wanting to do the same thing. So it's kind of forcing you forward, but there's something kind of holding you back, but you're still moving forward. I'm trying to piece this together. So none of these images were coming together. So then these fishermen kept moving at the same pace. And when one would go one way, the other one would do the same mirror image. And I felt like I was actually kind of waiting for them to merge. And I felt like, do I stay here a little bit longer? Am I just waiting for them to merge or hoping them to merge so that I can feel like celebrating for you? Or is this just the way you're feeling? You're like at odds with yourself. So I stayed. I stayed like a minute or so longer, waiting. And then they were going around bends in a lake. And then in the end, one of the fishing boats kind of did a little scoop with its tail of the boat. And that kind of triggered the other one to go the same way and merge into it. And then it became one image. It became one image. They merged. I was no longer seeing the mirror image. I feel like you may feel a little lost right now. But I do want to say that even though I feel like you may be lost, you're not plagued with inaction. You're still going. You're still fishing. You're still doing. It's like you haven't quit. You haven't quit. Maybe this is your integration of parts of you that you finally can integrate. Or this is the cycle closing shadow work that you've been working on. I feel like an energetic buzzing. But that could actually be that you're in a charged situation right now. Or you're being confronted with a charged situation right now. And maybe that is the shadow work. Or maybe that is you confronting something or someone that you may have been putting off. Or that it's finally made its presence known or has presented itself to you to deal with now. And that's what I feel. I feel like it's though Taurus is meeting something head on. Like something is on your path right now. Like as though you've been looking down, pushing through like a bull does, and you see feet and you look up and now there's something that you have to deal with. Well, I am really interested to know how this turns out. What are we looking at for October? So let's get to your cards then, okay? Let's start with these. For the Taurian collective, please. For the month of October, please. Bottom of the deck, we have trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. Very cool. For Taurus, please. Ooh. Bottom of the deck, we had the corn planting moon, number 21. Balancing energy, honesty, and emotions. And it's a stag. You know, corn is abundance. Corn is fruitful. Corn is plenty. And they were fishermen that I was seeing in my vision. And that's, again, seeking your abundance, seeking your fortune, seeking your plenty, whatever it is, however you define abundance in your life, you were seeking it, you were fishing for it. And it's like the stag, he goes where he's called and where he intuitively knows where he needs to go, right? It's like trusting. Underneath that, you have friendship. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. I see this as, this friend may be what you're confronting. Maybe it's a falling out with an established friend, an established relationship, an established coworker, something like that. Someone that you may have considered or been on friendly terms with is the person that you're confronting. This friend could also represent something that you have loved part of your life before and considered a positive influence on your life before. Then we have courage underneath that. Balancing energy, honesty, and emotions. It's like being honest with that friend. Wow. Then we have father, son, direction, illumination, active growth. This is 21, which is a 3. This is a number 3 again. How funny that there's 3 eagles, or it's one eagle with 3 faces, meaning different versions of this eagle, right? The many faces of the father, son. The mirroring effect. One eagle, but with one face looking towards the front and one to either side. It's figuring out what direction to go in next. Figuring out or trying to put an end to the confusion of where you should go and how you should handle something. There's something there like that. I am going to get an astrology card. I was doing stones for everybody else, but I didn't feel called to use the stone deck for you today. All right, for Taurus, please, Spirit. All right. Bottom of the deck, we have Pisces. Psychic, intuitive, dreamy. I think that you're being asked not only to trust, but to trust that you'll be guided where you have to go. It's like both sides of you, both versions of you, both aspects of your psyche, both aspects of your soul, your spirit, your higher self, your earthly self, your past, present, future selves, all trusting that you'll be guided the right way. I know that Neptune is going to be retrograding in Pisces, and a lot of truths and a lot of things are going to come to surface with that. Maybe that's the illumination, or that's the candle that will be turned on. That's when you're going to be illuminated to what direction or what path you need to continue on towards that growth that you need, that you strive for, that you desire. It's funny, a lot of water, right? On a lake, on boats, now with Pisces. There's a lot of illusion here. And true illusion, right? Like a house of mirrors. It's like you're on the verge of true integration. This is further enlightenment on your path of ascension. All right. So I'm going to get a couple cards from here. This is my deck called the Sunlit Path. The shipment is actually on its way, so it's really exciting. More information will be following. Wow. I just saw this card, and that's come out like in 3 readings already. The Naughties. Anything else, Spirit? Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have Taurus. Oh my goodness. Warrior Spirit. Defense while taking action. Reactive power. Change, conflict, challenge, pushing through yang energy. Absolutely. This is you defending, but also pushing forward when you have to. This is you seeking this integration tirelessly. It really is. This is what I made mention of in my vision, how you didn't stop even through the confusion, even in the confusion. I think that you are going to be, I don't think anything is going to stop you from reaching this goal. Like, you know, you're on your last leg and nothing's going to stop you from attaining what's at the end of that leg, of that race. I think even with the illusions and the lack of clarity, you instinctively know, or you energetically know, something good is going to come out of this. You're going to reach a clearing. You're going to see the sun. You just have to keep going. Underneath that, the present, absolutely. Stop and smell the humanity. Experience it. It is our present to ourselves. This is about timing and also about being present, not living in the past and working through what you have to work through now to get to where you want to be. Not just envisioning the future. It's your commitment to getting through the uncomfortable bits, I'm getting the word uncanny bits. Nah. To the finish line. Again, it is you confronting something. October is you confronting an aspect of yourself that needs to be either reined in, processed, or transmuted. A situation that needs to be solved, pacified, fixed, or changed, or abandoned so that you can move forward. And you're committed to doing that. You're not putting it off any longer. And it's knowing and accepting that you've got to do what you've got to do. That's the attitude. It's like, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. And you know that in order for you to have the reward, in order for you to have that breakthrough, in order for you to achieve what it is that you want to achieve, or even just have peace of mind again, right? To feel good again, to feel clear again and not be confused, you need to deal with what is at hand. You're not shirking responsibilities, and you're meeting your demands. You're meeting your obligations head on, period. And doing that is going to open the floodgates. It's going to bring the clarity, pull you out of any confusion that you may be in. This is you, with the mirroring, this is you confronting things that you may not have wanted to confront about you, about your life. It's accepting your life, foibles and all. It's looking at yourself in the mirror, not judgmentally, not critically, but lovingly, but sternly. There is a sternness about knowing that you need to do this, to do whatever this is, to handle what comes your way in October, because you know it's the best thing for you. You also know that this is like the last test. This is going to, again, open the floodgates to everything that you want, open the floodgates to peace, to the type of joy that you want your life imbued with. I'm going to pull one of these emotion cards for you, though. I've done this for every single sign. All right, I'll take those. Bottom of the deck, we have nervous. Yeah, I think there's a bit of nerves. The word confrontation makes people nervous in the first place. And I really don't want to make you nervous with that word, but there is that word. That is the word that is, ever present right now. How funny, ever present. When you feel edgy or on the edge of feeling alarmed or a little worried, yeah. I think anybody would feel worried when you feel out of sorts, when you feel not yourself, when you feel like, I feel like you will feel or do feel right now the imminence of something. You know that you're being dragged or taken to or brought to a crucial point of where you'll have to step up and break some kind of barrier. I don't know where that's coming from, but that's what I'm getting. And you're going to do it. And you're going to be successful in doing it, because I saw that fisherman with that boat figure out how to merge and heal his reality. Bring those illusions, bring both versions of himself into one. It's like figuring out how to solve your problem, and you're going to do it. So I understand the nervousness, and it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be more than okay. I just think that you unfortunately have to go through some difficulty in order to get there. So I'm going to pull some tarot and do a simple spread for you, Taurus. Taurus, oop. All right. So it's going to be the current energy for the month, past influence, what you should let go of, what you should focus on, and where are you heading. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Swords. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, I think this says it all. Nobody wants to pass the Ten of Swords. They don't. There's at least comfort knowing that you will be done with whatever this is, and it will morph into something more palatable or easier to handle once you're done with whatever this is that you need to. I don't want to keep using the word confront. Once you check off what it is that you need to do off your list, you're going to be able to pass the Ten of Swords. And I like the fact that it is the Ten of Swords, because I know it sounds funny, but if we would have gotten the Death card, I would have been like, yeah, there's going to be definitely an ending to the situation. But because it's the Ten of Swords, I feel like I can piece this back together with that friendship or that friend. I am seeing the term friend very loosely. You know, it is a person or a situation that once brought you joy or that was part of your life and that no longer serves you or makes you happy or no longer is on your team per se. And that's really what I'm seeing with the Ten of Swords. Like that friend and what it represents, the term, what that represents, has maybe turned toxic with the Ten of Swords. So I wouldn't have pulled all that out if I would have just received the Death card, let's say. Yeah, there is a toxicity here that's being removed from your life. And you're doing it. You're doing it. You're not just waiting for it to roll out of your life or to kind of be dispelled by itself. You're actively, right, with the Taurus. You are actively pushing it out of your life, which is also an act of defense because you have to defend yourself. You have to make sure that you're being taken care of and that you're not going to allow the toxicity to keep influencing your life in other ways. Wow. So what's underneath? The Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, this is you working through this tirelessly. This is you not stopping. Not stopping. I love it. I love seeing this for you. You are so diligent and you just know what needs to be done, and you don't take shortcuts, and you don't shirk responsibilities. And sometimes you wish you could, but you don't. There's not many like you. Underneath that, we have the Empress. There you are. Wonderful. Like I said, you're very nurturing. And it's unfair because that is what may have gotten you to the place where you are now, right? You know, when I see the Empress here, I see this Knight of Pentacles going to the Empress. It's like you're reaching your power, right? You're the Knight of Pentacles right now, but you're going to actually be reaching your own personal power this month. You're going to be able to receive again that abundance, that fertility, that catch, the fish, what was it that we saw? There was something else that we saw underneath the deck. I think that you are headed to your empowerment. You are headed to your success. You are headed to receiving what you deserve and what you put out into the universe. You're going to be receiving your manifestation. It's just you got to get through this before doing that. This is splitting here, and I want to see what this is. The Seven of Pentacles. Yes. You are in a holding pattern. You are waiting. You've been so patient. Once this happens and you have that moment, that conversation, that hashing out, that negotiation, that realization of what you shouldn't hold on to anymore in your life, what you should let go of, all of those things. Once you do that, that is where everything starts flowing. King of Pentacles. Yeah, heading to your abundance, heading to what it is that you are craving, desiring, wanting. And that's different for everyone. But you're going to be there. You're going to achieve and attain that. Okay. You know, I pulled charms out for everybody, and I'm going to do that for you guys too. I wasn't going to, but I feel like we need a little bit more. All right, let's take a look at these things. Oh, it's only two. This is amazing. This is the anglerfish. The little light at the end of his little, I don't know, tentacle. It's finding the enlightenment, right? Because this for me is a morning band. But all I heard when I pulled it out for you was, oh, attachments. And it's you seeing the attachments that no longer serve you, that you need to dispel from your life. Seeing through the darkness, right, with his light. Seeing through the darkness, being where you're going, where you're called, and trusting that you will be able to cut through these attachments. This could be processing the grief that's associated with loss, with endings, with change. Change leaves a lot of grief in its wake. And that's where, and it pulls in surrendering and acceptance and all the other, buzzwords. You're being given the tools, you're being given the teeth, the strength to cut through this ribbon. You're no longer, oh, thank you, Spirit. I get it. I get it. This is the fish that you're catching. This is the catch the fishermen are getting. This is the light, the enlightenment. This is the understanding of what it is that you need to do and how to move forward to get where you want to go. You are catching the anglerfish. You're catching this ability, this strength, right? I mean, look at this thing. You are becoming the anglerfish to be able to cut through all of these ties. Wow. Wow. And that's why you were able to merge. Because you caught him. You caught his abilities. You are catching his abilities. I have the anglerfish in my deck for the Hermit card. So for me, this also means this is your enlightenment. This is your epiphany. This is you emerging from the depths of the ocean, of the sea, right? With true introspection of what it is that you need to do moving forward. Absolutely amazing. All right, so let's take a look at these cards for you. Forgiveness. I don't think I'll need those. Okay, just had a coughing fit. Maybe someone's having difficulty in coughing up an apology. Or someone's having difficulty in forgiving someone. Forgiving is not forgetting. Forgiving is releasing yourself from the tentacles of this pain, of this offense. Yeah. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Yeah. This is a really hard one to accept when you're in the throes of anger and disappointment. That resentment, and you harboring that resentment, will eventually have to be turned back on you. And you're going to end up having to forgive yourself for allowing this situation with this person, with this entity, with this company, with whatever this is. You're going to be upset with yourself and have to forgive yourself for allowing this situation to have manipulated you, to have marred your future, to have marred your memories. Yeah, it's so tenfold, billionfold. I can see this is something that you're going to have to work through. in the month of October. And that's not easy. Grandmother moon. Ooh, the moon, right? And we all said Pisces. Self-reflection, inner rhythms, intuition. Number 4. Yeah. Intuition, again, you had the corn planting moon and with the trust card. With your astrology card, we have Earth. Pragmatic, grounded, and enduring. That's what you are, Taurus. I think it's fantastic, especially with all the water that's going on and with the Pisces, all these emotions. You'll definitely need to ground, stay grounded. But I know that you're doing this anyway. So many of these cards reference the enduring quality of your stamina, of you not giving up. And I think this is what you're doing. I think that you're being steadfast in your suit. You're being steadfast in your stubbornness to get this done. And it's fantastic. This is what you need right now. You absolutely need to be Taurus, right? And I talked about you being empowered by the end of this as the Empress. We need you to be Taurus. Absolutely. The Temperance card. Oh, I do need my glasses for this one. Associated with Sagittarius, I understand. Alchemy, divine timing, integration, and alignment. Time of reflection, compromise, and patience. Moderation, period of adjustment. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a period of adjustment. I think this Temperance card is perfect for what we're talking about in this reading. As in tempering of emotions, as in timing, as in reintegration, as in adjustment period. I think that you are being called to temper this interaction with whatever this is this month. I think that you are being called to look deep within yourself for the introspection and then aligning truly with what it is you want moving forward. And that's definitely including integration. But I would say equally as important of everything I just said is the period of adjustment. This is the grief that I was mentioning before with the changes. And that's going to trigger this period of adjustment. Period. Like, I think this adjustment of who you are, where you're headed, where you're going, not having this person in your life anymore, or not having these resources anymore, or not having these experiences anymore will be difficult and will need tender, loving care moving forward. And that's a lot from this card. Up to now, this sums up pretty much everything we've been talking about. Nadis. And I think, yeah, right? I think these actually go hand in hand. How funny is that? Okay. Constraints, delays, overcoming limitations, endurance, survival, growth through adversity, saving for a rainy day, needs and necessities. This is what you need the temperance for. This lack of having what you need or constraints being placed on you by someone are going to be met head on. And that's where all the temperance soliloquy comes in. You can do it. Because these needs and constraints are needed for you to have these breakthroughs, are needed for you to overcome, to have these successes. So meeting them head on gets you one step further down the road to your happiness. And if you look at it that way, then you're halfway there, I think. I hope. So what kind of emotions are we looking at for the month? vicious. Holy moly, guys. Oh, I love it. Okay. Vicious, empowered, and annoyed. I see this very clearly. When I saw vicious, it scared me. Vicious, empowered, and annoyed. How many times have I used the word empowered already? Several. I think you are worried and nervous about having a confrontation that may become vicious in your mind. I don't think it will. And if it does, it's something that you can overcome because you are becoming empowered through this. Here is the sun. How adorable is this? Oh my gosh, it's so cute. This sun, this empowerment of you, Taurus, is going to get you through this. And it's just what I said with the Naughties card about you needing to go through these difficulties in order for you to result an empowered Taurus ready to move on from whatever this is. This is like that last leg that you know is like the final nail in the coffin for you to be able to achieve what it is you want, but you still have to go and hammer that nail in the coffin. And that's what you have to do. And this annoyed card, how funny is this? He's like made of stone. You will be annoyed and frustrated at the things that linger from this, right? What did I say about the Temperance card? The period of adjustment. That's where all this is coming in. I now see that. That's why I went through all of that period of adjustment stuff. You know, the stress, the sadness, the grief, the isolation, the loneliness, the adjusting to a new life, a new school, new friend group, new company, new resources, lack of resources, all of that will cause annoyances. But I think in the end, you're going to be happy still that you made the decision and that you met this cycle breaking moment head on. All right, Taurus, so let's take a look at your tarot cards. Your current energy for the month of October 2025 is the Lovers card. I love it. I absolutely love it because this is interpersonal harmony. These are the interactions and choices that you make on a daily basis with those around you, how you interact with everyone. It's about cooperation, coordination, harmony, in every shape, way, or form with other people. And that's what you're going to be dealing with in the month of October. Yeah. I think this is going to be your goal, is to stay in flow with the Lovers card in an upright position. Because I was going to say, I could have seen this come out in reverse. But I'm loving the fact that it didn't. Meaning this is where you're going to end up. Like, you're going to be fluctuating in the Lovers card all month. And I love the fact that it ended up straight up, saying that you're going to have this harmonious flow with those in your life. And I think it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So what past energy has been influencing the Lovers card? The Judgment card. Wow, I just said the Judgment card. Whoa. This is the Nine of Pentacles. And I was going to say, when I saw it, I immediately started thinking of the Nine of Pentacles. And I was going to say, it's not just about you, and it's about you coming out of your comfort zone and dealing with other people. And you may have been focusing on yourself and not other people. And I said the Judgment card at the exact same time as I had all of those thoughts. I think the past influence of the Nine of Pentacles is the reason why the Lovers card came out upright. The fact that I said the Judgment card, though, when I saw this card, is all of this. I think it's the problem that you're dealing with. It's the problem that you're dealing with and that you're going to be overcoming in the month of October. It's that last big hurdle for you to be able to go back to the Nine of Pentacles. Now, Nine of Pentacles, I think that you have been doing you. I think that you have been trying to self-actualize and put yourself first and doing all the good self-care, self-love stuff. And now you're being interrupted from this path because of this situation. It's like you're the recipient of a lot of people's baggage. That's exactly what I'm feeling. It's like they threw shade. Again, I got the Ten of Swords here, right? And what did I say? I was really happy I got this because this clarified for me why something has to end. I immediately knew that other people or another situation that you're caught up in stuck these swords in you. Did not see these as self-imposed. Maybe some. I don't know the whole history over the past year, but I know that other people have been doing this to you. I don't necessarily think that all the baggage that you're dealing with is yours or it comes from you. Very interesting. Okay, so what is it that you should let go of in the month of October? Oh, the Two of Wands. It's about being present and not, Oh, I just got not counting your chickens before they hatch. It's being present. What did I say? And I even made mention about not living in the future, not living in, it's like, no, I'll do that soon. I now know that I need to be present and deal with what's at hand first. And just to even be in the position to start thinking about the future. Wow. This is your planning phase. This is you building out and fleshing out what it is that you want in the future. But I have to say, if you don't really even know what the future is going to entail until you deal with this, you really can't do this. Yes, we can self-actualize and manifest from a place of desire and want and intention. Absolutely. But we also have to accept that we are living out manifestations and karma today in our human day-to-day activities. So, we have to deal with what we have at hand in order for us to be able to move forward, right? Hopefully with less baggage than we had before. Absolutely. So don't count your chickens before they hatch. I think that there's going to be a lot of reevaluation. I think there's going to be, again, that period of adjustment with the Temperance card. And that final destination of where you saw yourself or how you were going to get there may change. May change and most likely will change. That's what I'm getting. So what is it that you should focus on then in the month of October? The Queen of Cups. There is an aspect of you being heart-led. Absolutely. And also not allowing these emotions to completely inundate you, right? With the psyche. I just said psyche. How funny is that? With the Pisces. Again, emotional. With the psyche, I'm getting emotional instability. Psychic, intuitive, and dreamy. Yeah, there's a lot of moon energy here too. You got that corn plant moon. You got the other grandmother moon. There's a lot of emotions and psychic energy potentially. I think your intuitive abilities are going to be in high gear. I think that you're going to be very influenced by the moon. This full moon is going to be quite potent. If you're one of those people that is highly affected by the moon phases, this one will be a big one for you. So yeah, just be careful that we do not, be careful that you don't allow the detriment of this Queen of Cups to come forward, which is over-giving, self-sacrificing, and impossible to console is what I got. So focus on being heart-led. Focus on working, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, the forgiveness. Because I think this is going to be a new wound. And speaking of forgiveness, too soon really turns people off. but I have to say it is here. So we do also have the Queen of Cups. She would be very likely to be the one to start the forgiveness process. And if this is what you're being asked to focus on, I do see this. And forgiving doesn't mean that you have this person in your life. Forgiving doesn't mean that you continue having this experience, this situation, this energetic tie, whatever it is, in your life moving forward. But it's trying to find a silver lining if there is one. Be gracious and grateful for what the experience has taught you, especially, right, with the anglerfish and the strength that you are exuding. You know, there's a lot. There's definitely different ways where you can see the gifts out of this situation. And hopefully you will during this month, because I think that's quite clear here too. Just even entertaining the idea continues opening your heart space. So where are you headed then towards the end of the month? Queen of Swords. You've come out of that Ten of Swords. You know what it is you want, and you are going to be seen as the Queen of Swords, because you're going to say what needs to be said. You're going to mean, again, business. You're going to be very matter of fact about what it is that's allowed and not allowed. You're going to be erecting and enforcing boundaries. And you're also going to be fair and just. Just be careful of too much detachment, because then you won't process the emotional side, which you're being asked to focus on. And how funny. You have two of the queens here. And you had the Empress at the bottom of the deck over here, right? The Empress is all queens in one. So you're almost there. That Knight of Pentacles is going to the Empress. This is where you're headed. And I definitely think this is where you're headed. You already have these two queens. You're headed to becoming the Empress. I truly believe that. The Empress is born from the Empress. And she becomes the Empress once again. Ooh. That's awesome. So Taurus, I know that you have the strength and the stamina to get through this month. I also see the gifts that you will be attaining. I do think your collective is going to be highly affected by the astrology of this month. But I also think that you're going to learn how to manipulate it to your advantage. Wow. I am wishing you so much love, so much protection, and I cannot wait to see you next month.